Round two. Let's try this live session again. So again, continuing our trend of daily financial updates. Thanks for watching. As we sit here this Saturday morning, a little bit of a late start. Got in really late last night after enjoying a Warriors game. Yes, another loss for all the haters out there. Now 2-11. Who would have guessed? Also had a couple of very exciting interviews that were done this morning, hence the late start on these financial news. I like to get these out to you earlier. However, when I get two people that want to talk at 7 and 8 a.m., I decide to take those and do this a little bit later. So at the end, what happened kind of on Friday that caught my attention is first off, the Dow exceeded 28,000, kind of setting another record. For me, this is kind of confirmation of what we talked about on this channel 3 or 4 weeks ago. I proposed that the positive news cycle would continue and thus we would have the melt up, right? We talked about the trade war at the time trending correctly, the interest rates going lower. We talked about GM and the UAW strike kind of ending, and just generally positive momentum heading into the holiday seasons, and we nailed it. Again, never take my stock market advice. I own no stocks. I buy no stocks. I have no mutual funds. I have no index funds. I am a real estate person. But that said, because you watch the information for 20 years, you can see some trends. And generally speaking, positive news heading into a holiday season, unemployment at record levels, it really wasn't a hard call to say, we're going to be trending positively. That said, as we sit here at records, I got to at least ask myself, if I'm sitting here with investments, and again, I have none, do I want to continue to be in these positions, right? Am I trading, meaning maybe I still see a couple of more points to the upside? Am I an investor, meaning I care if it goes down, I'm here, like Warren Buffett says, for the long term? Or am I gambling, right? Am I staying on this theoretical hot streak? Do I feel overly optimistic or whatever? You got to ask yourself, right? If you're sitting at this level, why would you stay in? And again, if you're trading and you see the upside, or you're watching the trends, or the 50-day or 200-day moving average, or whatever it is, you have a plan. Great. Are you an investor and you don't really care what happens heading into the end of 2019? You want to own the same stuff in 2025? Great. Or are you gambling, going, wow, what a hot streak! I'm having fun. Let's go. Might want to take some off the table and put a little bit of money back in the pocket. So that's the Dow. That's the records. Next up, found a fund manager who's up 36%, nearly 40% for the year. And the reason it caught my attention was he's been investing in what he calls misunderstood business models. I'm like, what is that? So basically, digging into the article, the best example they got was the world was turning negative on plastic, which is very clear, right? No more plastic straws, plastic this, plastic that. Plastic's like the evil empire now. And what he saw was, okay, if the world goes negative on plastics, by happenstance, they're going to go positive on aluminum. So he made a big bet in something called Crown Holding. Never heard of it. Apparently, they're a conglomerate where one of their significant businesses is aluminum cans. So I thought that was interesting, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, right? So if you see something going negative, look for the corollary. Because again, right, just because plastic is bad, we're still going to be selling sodas and other things. So aluminum would go up. So I thought that was a pretty interesting idea, and I applaud him for sharing that and his success and his investors' success. I wish I would have wrote down his name, but in my haste, I did not. The article's on CNBC, though. Look for fund manager up nearly 40% on misunderstood business models. Next up, Disney Plus. Disney Plus came out of the gates hot, right? 10 million signees in the first day. No wonder they had a hiccup that first day that we talked about. It's interesting. A lot of people are talking about the streaming wars. I don't see it that way. I think everybody's in a land grab today, and it will only become true streaming wars when prices go up. When consumers like you and I need to make a choice. Oh my gosh, Netflix is X, Amazon is Y and Disney Plus is Z. I can only afford one, right? When they're free or cheap, it's very easy to have all of them. But there will become a time when these companies, after they have their land grab, force you to make a decision because we have limited funds. So that's when the streaming wars happen, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see, is that 12 months, 24 months? It will absolutely happen. I believe these companies today are running at a loss. That won't always be the case, so it'll be interesting to watch. And then the last one I caught is I found an article talking about a black swan event that is could be happening in the video game industry. If you don't know this, there's video games now or multiplayer kind of reward you for playing hours on end, and this individual pointed to the potential for a crackdown. I've never played video games, but I see the news and see people playing for 24 hours straight and all of that. But their proposal is if going after the addictive nature. And I guess, right, if the government wanted to crack down on that and saw that as a potential issue that needed intervention, you could absolutely see where that would become a problem for folks like Electronic Arts and other creators. So I thought it was interesting. I don't think that's certainly in the near future, right? You would have to see, it would sort of be like vaping, right? Where you see kind of trickle of problems, and then all of a sudden you have, everybody talking about it's all over the news, and then pretty soon you're pulling product from the shelves. It will go the same way, right? When you see video game players, suffer maybe just what video game consumers suffer. I didn't want to say the word pass away, so I decided not to, or another word for that. But when that happens and it hits front page news and we're all talking about it, absolutely the government can get in. I don't know when that happens. It's got to be years away, but I thought it was an interesting idea, especially in this landscape where you want to see where government is certainly talking about intervening in technology stocks like Amazon, Google / Alphabet, and Facebook. So definitely coming out there. Going to be interesting. So again, that's our daily update. Be careful. Records in the Dow and S&P have happened recently. Are you trading, investing, or gambling? Know thyself. Fund manager success by investing in misunderstood business models. Pretty interesting. Disney Plus, the real streaming wars are years away, but it will happen. And the potential for a black swan event in the video game industry, I thought was interesting to talk about. All right, everybody, enjoy your day. I am uploading those 2 interviews as of this morning right over there, and they'll be up later in the day. All right, everybody, take care.